Minister.
Well, thank you, Mr. Vickers, and it's of course a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship and in fact to respond to my first Westminster Hall debate. I'd like to congratulate the Honourable Member for Ynys Môn for securing this debate. I know how hard she works for the island, and I would also thank other Honourable and Right Honourable Members today for articulating all of their views. Happily, we've heard a range of opinions, both from North Wales and South Wales, in support of the Anglesey bid, the Celtic Freeport bid, and just for balance, of course, there is a third bid in Wales centred around Newport. So it's been an excellent debate, and I'm very pleased to have this chance to set out the new opportunities being created by the Freeports programme in Wales, and how it, along with other UK government support and investments, will help to level up communities across the length and breadth of the UK. As my Right Honourable friend, the Chancellor, set out last month, this government is committed to ensuring the benefits of economic development are felt everywhere, not just in London and the South East, but across the whole of the UK. And it intends to do this by spreading opportunities more equally across the country, empowering local leaders and bringing left-behind communities up to the level of more prosperous areas. In that regard, Freeports are already playing a key role in creating hundreds of thousands of jobs across the UK and helping to drive economic growth by attracting investment into their local areas and regions. Our new Freeports programme in Wales, which is being jointly delivered with the Welsh Government and backed by £26 million, of which £25 million is seed capital and £1 million for governance of government support, will help us make this vision a reality. Now, Mr. Chairman, the Freeports programme is one of the core parts of the government's Levelling Up agenda. The programme will look to incentivise private businesses to invest in new opportunities in Wales. We have worked constructively with the Welsh Government to design a bespoke Freeports model which will deliver for Wales. This will make the most of the unique opportunities in Wales, which will ultimately benefit businesses, ports and communities across Wales. The Wales Freeports model is based on three main objectives. Number one, to promote regeneration and high-quality job creation. Two, to establish at least one Freeport as a hub for global trade and investment across the economy. And thirdly, to foster an innovative environment. Freeports are magnets for investment, and business located in Freeports will benefit from a generous package of measures comprising tax reliefs, customs advantages, business rate relief, innovation, and trade and investment support. These tools, paired with the ambitious £26 million of public investment in seed funding, will unlock much-needed investment and high-quality jobs, not just for businesses located in the Freeport, but for the surrounding areas and regions. And the Freeports programme will drive forward our ambitions for Wales to compete at a global level, while creating a new high-skill, high-wage and local jobs, putting Welsh communities on the path to long-term growth and prosperity. The Freeport programme in Wales, once the competitive process concludes, will join the Freeports in England and the Green Freeports in Scotland to help deliver the UK government's Levelling Up ambitions. The operational Freeports in England are already delivering jobs and investment across local areas such as Plymouth, Solent and Teesside. And the newest operational Freeports, the Liverpool City Region Freeport and Freeport East, announced at the end of last year, will also drive investment and industrial growth to deliver thousands of skilled jobs for local communities and regions. The process in Wales is well underway, and I, like many others, look forward to the benefits this programme can bring to communities in Wales. We and the Welsh Government have committed to delivering at least one Freeport in Wales, and we both remain open to considering the designation of an additional Freeport if there are sufficient exceptional bids. Unfortunately, as we're still currently in a competitive process for Wales, I'm unable to comment on individual applications. I do, however, look forward to seeing the outcome of the competition process and would like to thank all those in developing the bids submitted in Wales. Now, in the course of the debate, we've had a number of contributions, which I very much welcome. Of course, the Honourable Member, my friend, the Honourable Member for Ynys Môn, powerfully articulated our arguments for the Anglesey Freeport, focusing on net zero, on the need to boost trade flows, energy, and of course, jobs. We had an intervention from the Honourable Member for Strangford, who asked about Northern Ireland. He's no longer in his place, but I can tell him that discussions are ongoing to extend the Freeport programme to Northern Ireland. And the Honourable Member for Aberavon made comments relating to green energy, in particular his desire to see the success of the floating offshore wind agenda and energy security as well. And those comments were echoed by my right honourable friend, the member for Preseli Pembrokeshire, who particularly wanted to highlight the importance of job opportunities, energy companies in his patch, and decarbonisation of the industrial cluster in his part of the world, and again floating offshore wind and the importance of the supply chain. We went on to hear from the Right Honourable Member for Dwyfor Meirionydd, who kindly presented me with a lengthy list of questions, which I'll do my best to answer. First of all, she asked about national insurance, and I can tell her that Freeports will introduce secondary Class 1 NI contributions relief for eligible employers on the earnings of eligible employees working at a Freeport tax site. I'd be happy to find out further detail for her in due course if she writes to me or speaks to me. I did welcome her general support for the concept of Freeports, and as many as possible in actual fact in Wales. She highlighted the Crown Estate and her long-standing view that it should be devolved, but I would emphasise that particularly in the Celtic Sea, of course, the opportunities for floating offshore wind are also related to southwest England, not just Wales. And so my personal view is that to break up the Crown Estate would not assist in that endeavour. She asked what constitutes an exceptional case. Essentially, the process is being judged equally by officials in Welsh Government and UK Government, and there will be equal decision-making powers for ministers in both governments as well. And it is for them to judge the exceptionality of the cases based on what is submitted to them, but all will become clear in due course. And she also went on to ask about the £26 million, and were there to be more than one Freeport, would there be two allocations or more of 26 million? And I can tell her that would be the intention, yes. She asked about the Freeport in Liverpool, and as you'll know from the reception held by Growth Track 360 here yesterday, Liverpool, of course, is an important element of the North East Wales economy, and I think there's much to be said that success in the economy in Liverpool benefits North East Wales, so I'd urge her to bear that in mind. I will.
I'm grateful for his explanations and for his response to my questions. In particular in relation to the impact of Liverpool, I think it is worth putting on record that Liverpool therefore will have an effect on the whole of North Wales, along the A55 and into Ynys Môn, and that actually provides another argument for the need for a counterbalance, particularly in the northwest for Caergybi, because that will potentially, I would hope, see developments back across the northwest of Wales into other counties, into Gwynedd and into Conwy.
Mm-hmm. I thank the Right Honourable Member. I think she's in many respects making the case for investment across North Wales itself and into Anglesey in doing so. And of course, the agenda to upgrade infrastructure to link in with the northwest of England is also important to benefit North Wales. So I hope I covered most of her questions there, and should there be others, I'd be very happy to take them. Moving on.
In relation to reconsidering grid capacity in Wales. I would be grateful to for a response to that.
I think she makes a good point there, and clearly the Welsh Affairs Select Committee has considered these issues in detail. It's something of importance to me, and it's the role of the Wales office essentially to liaise with the relevant government department, the Department for Energy Security and Net Zero, as it's now called, to ensure that grid capacity meets aspirations, and I can assure her that that's my hope to have that influence. Yes.
Grateful to the Minister for giving way, but I would really like to reiterate the point that the Right Honourable Lady from Dover Meriona has made about grid capacity. If you really read in detail the evidence that we've received on the Welsh Affairs Committee, it's very, very clear that simply business as usual when it comes to investment in the grid is not going to cut it. And I appreciate the government is making efforts to try to secure more timely investment, but actually we really need to see a sea change actually if we are going to meet the targets and the aspirations that we've been talking about this morning.
That point is very much taken on board, and I thank him for all of his efforts in that regard. So I'd like to move on to take this opportunity to outline other core elements of the government's levelling up agenda. Wales is front and centre in our plans to level up of the whole of the UK, and areas across Wales are already benefiting from over £1.7 billion of local growth funding. From large-scale transport improvements to regenerating town centres and refurbishing cultural assets, the Levelling Up Fund will deliver lasting improvements in local communities across Wales, giving people renewed pride in their local areas. Ynys Môn alone is receiving £17 million from the Levelling Up Fund for the cultural regeneration of Holyhead Town Centre, and I was very pleased to visit there a few weeks ago and see the efforts being made to ensure that people using the port see all that Holyhead has to offer. And in total, the government's investing over £208 million in 11 projects across Wales through the second round of LUF. This is almost 10% of the total UK allocation and builds on the £120 million which the government invested in Wales in the first round of the fund. This is far more than Wales would have received through a Barnetised formula, and is testament to the dedicated work of local authorities across Wales who developed high-quality applications. The government is, of course, also investing over £790 million in Wales's 4 city and regional growth deals. These deals are starting to deliver real change on the ground, from the Swansea Arena to investment in the Digital Signalling Processing Centre at Bangor University. Furthermore, £2.6 billion has been allocated to places across the UK through the UK Shared Prosperity Fund. Of this, £585 million has been allocated to Wales, including over £126 million for North Wales. This trailblazing new approach to investment and the empowerment of local communities to level up and build pride in place will see direct investment in 3 local priorities. These are communities in place, support for local businesses, and people and skills. The funding is now in the hands of Wales's 4 regional partnerships, where local leaders are empowered to decide how best to invest the funding to better promote local growth, help regenerate local economies, and build a better future.
I know we're in danger of going off down a SPF rabbit hole rather than Freeports, but I couldn't resist, as he did raise the issue of the Shared Prosperity Fund. Could I just ring an alarm bell, which is that as we head towards March 2025, when the long tail of European funding will tail off, there is going to be a cliff edge. Organisations that are delivering what is currently a sort of hybrid of EU and SPF funding are absolutely terrified that their projects are going to collapse. They haven't had enough lead time to plan. Could I just really mark the Minister's card that this is a ticking time bomb, actually, with regard to the SPF, and if he could look at a more flexible way of doing the comprehensive spending review, that doesn't have this arbitrary deadline of March 2025, I think that that would actually salvage the programme, which if he doesn't do that, we're in danger of seeing some very difficult decisions having to be made in the very near future. Thank you.
Well, I thank the Honourable member for raising his concerns about Shared Prosperity Fund. He will know that there are very large sums of money being allocated through local authorities, and I hope he's having some input into his own area, as I am in mine, and articulating his concerns to ensure that projects that he feels are in need of support and protection in that respect are getting the hearing that they need. But I will move on from SPF to conclude this excellent debate by once again thanking the Honourable Lady for bringing it forward. She is a champion for Honest Mon, from the Freeport bid to nuclear and green energy and transport connectivity, and I know how important it is to her to see well-paid jobs on the island and to provide good reasons for young people to stay on Anglesey. I'd welcome the opportunity to have further conversations with her on Freeports in Wales once the competitive process concludes, and of course that invitation extends to all honourable and right honourable members. Thank you very much.